Oh, hey, Dad. I'm calling because I'm going to do that sound piece on Emily in Brighten Beach and Coney Island.
Oh, that's a great idea. Where'd you get that idea? But, you know, your best sources are going to be your oldest people.
Hi, Grandma.
My mother, they were all born in the United States, in New York.
Oh, that's all right.
My parents.
I grew up in Brighten Beach.
And she lived with our grandmother, her mother and father, and her grandmother.
Well, the thing of it is that we grew up in a very unique environment, as you recall.
And it was a wonderful place.
That was very specific to New York, because we grew up on the last house at the dead end, right on the beach in Brighten Beach.
One of the most impressive sounds I remember from my childhood is the waves of the Atlantic Ocean crashing on the shore all day and
many
all
times
night.
I'd fall asleep
Right
at
on the
night.
water on the
Because
ocean.
as the waves come in,
You heard
they make a submerging sound.
total clarity.
And I would wait for the waves,
You heard the rolling of the waves breaking on the beach.
and there was a quiet that I would fall asleep with that quietness. It was so
She
beautiful.
was a beautiful woman, your great-grandmother, Dorothy's mother, Aunt Betty.
Oh, that's my grandmother and my
She was
uncle.
blind, and she cooked and baked beautiful things,
Betty, was she?
tasty food.
We had so many open places in the street to play. We had songs for every double Dutch game. When we bounced the ball, we would sing a song like, Charlie Chaplin went to France to teach the natives how to dance, and this is the way he taught them. Heel toe, over you go, salute the king, and turn your back on the major. I don't know why, but that was the song.
I remember Brighten Beach a lot. When we were little kids, we had to go to school across that big avenue.
One block away,
you heard the New York City elevated subway system running
running
along
across its station, Brighten Beach.
every 15 minutes.
I think I took Gary when we were pretty young, like 5 or 6 or 7.
And it's the sound of those trains that are so significant because it echoes through the alleys.
We'd go there, but the good thing was Mom was working, and we got lunch money, and we could go on Brighten Beach Avenue, and it was really cool because they had great everything, pizza, delicatessen, Chinese food. That was a little bit extra money, but I think it was 35 cents for a whole big dinner, but that was a little bit more than we normally spent. I remember playing ball a lot.
You didn't have cell phones. You called people.
That's what we did. We played ball in the front of the house. We played ball at the beach.
But you developed a certain tone. Ronnie!
I remember running through alleys as a kid.
That was unmistakable, your wife or your husband or your child.
We played a lot in the alleys. Probably come up just to get some food somewhere.
Kenny! And Gary. But I didn't call much for Gary, but by then we were refined.
You can hear from our house, but it was a very distant sound because it was about a half a mile away.
We could see it from the window, and
If you listen very carefully, you could hear the cycle and roller coaster going down the hill. It makes a tremendous amount of noise.
The cyclone, of course, is still there and still considered to be the grandmother or the granddaddy of all wooden roller coasters, and it's pretty strong.
Cyclone is kind of rinky-dink in a way because it's made out of wood, but I think it's still there, so I guess it's pretty good. I remember going to Coney Island, people going on those fast rides and screaming and yelling.
I was very fortunate
Coney Island was a great place to live.
in that since I was born in 1947, many of what we might call the antiquities and relics of Coney Island, the tornado and the thunderbolt, were just still there.
Once a week, we used to go to Coney Island to where the Steeplechase was.
You bought a ticket. I don't remember if it was 39 cents, 35 cents, and it enabled you to about 39 rides. And every time you went on a ride, they punched one of the numbers.
And we used to, some people used to buy tickets and not use the whole ticket.
We would put them on the ground, stamp on them, and get the hole to look like it wasn't there. And then we could use the ride again because the ticket didn't look like it was punched.
So we used to pick the ticket up, and what ride they didn't use, we used.
And I remember Steeplechase, which that was really when I was younger.
Horse racing, you sat on a horse and went around the track and in different cars.
I think they had like electric horses
and
and
went around the park.
You went up something like a little silo and jumped onto a slide and went round and around and around, deposited you onto a big wood table, pointed at this, was to try to spin you off to the sides. And I would try so hard to stay on that table and not get thrown off. And if you tried hard enough, a little kid, you could stay on it.
But that's what they called Steeplechase. That's what was the name of it, and the Steeplechase was horses. It was their flagship ride.
The small roller coaster in the park.
Merry-go-round. Oh, they had a lot of different rides and things that were very important. You know, very exciting.
And, of course, many of the rides that were unique to Steeplechase were a lot of fun.
The rides never blew my mind. I always got into the hustle of the place.
Hey, buy your hot dog, buy your this, buy your that.
While I was younger, the parachute jump
It wasn't that scary, not like today.
It remained a landmark for all the ships coming through the Narrows into the New York harbors.
Luna Park was across from Nathan's area, or from the cyclone, but it burned down before I grew up. So everybody talked about Luna Park a lot.
Luna Park was good, full of lights. They had moon-shaped lights, but Steeplechase had rides that you couldn't find any other place. Steeplechase was my choice, even though Luna Park was around.
But I never really got to see it. It was on Surf Avenue, like
hot
I said,
dogs
near
from
Nathan's.
Nathan's. The other part of Coney Island is it smells.
Exactly, you ate frankfurters.
Nathan's is sure a shell of itself now.
That was Feldman's. And you also saw the silent movies at the same time.
There used to be like 10, 15, 20 lines.
Child's Restaurant.
There was a volume in it.
That was around 25th Street. That was excellent.
Now it's kinds of stuff, like pizza and Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's just weird. So that doesn't feel the same.
The first fast foods in this country were positioned in Coney Island.
Feels like Goyish food.
They were hot fudge sundaes and custards, and of course pizza, corn on the cob, knishes.
It's just not Brooklyn.
There was a Good Humor truck, and there was also a Mr. Softy truck.
Years ago, not too long ago, you had the Good Humor man, and that was on the boardwalk because it was neighborhood, and they had places to take pictures. So they would have a wooden boat, and the whole family would sit in what looked like a wooden boat and have the photographer take their pictures. Very well dressed up. Nobody came there without being dressed up. Some men had canes, but most of the men had straw hats.
I have the Lerman personality, which I say what's on my mind, and it always sounds incredibly insulting. And this is going to sound insulting to you, but this sounds like an assignment that you would get in the third grade. It doesn't sound like a master's piece of assignment. I got to say.
Okay, and
Bye-bye.
Bye.